Hi, good morning everyone. This is Dr. S. Prakash, Professor at EEE Department, handling the course Biomedical Instrumentation from Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Following the lecture series on biomedical instrumentation, now we will see the next part. It is about the electrophysiological measurements. In this physiological measurements, obtaining the biosignal, right, we need some sensors and recorders, right. So, we will have a view on that sensors and recorders, and similarly physiological transducer, general consideration for electronic recording systems, then basic recording systems. When we say we are going to deal with the biosignals, the signals may be very less in magnitude. So, you should have a basic knowledge on pre-amplifiers. Then how to record the biosignals? For that we use some types of recorders such as direct writing recorders, UV recorders, electrostatic recorders, and instrumentation tape recorders. These were widely used and basic of obtaining the biosignal. Right. Now, you see a basic recording system, right, how a human signal or a biosignal can be measured, right. So, you can see in the diagram or the sketch, you will have a human that is a patient body, right. From there you get the energy or the biosignals what you are going to measure. See, the energy sources may be electric, light, infrared, mechanical, ultrasound, whatever it may be, because we trap the biosignals from the human being through these sort, whether that may be a light, infrared, mechanical, or ultrasound, like that. So, this patient or human being is called as a measurand, right, where I am going to measure the signal. From the measurand, the next stage is going to be the sensor or transducer, right. So, this sensor or transducer stage is also going to have a calibration stage also. From the sensor to transducer stage, and the next stage is going to be the pre-amplifier stage. You all know that sensors or the transducers, right, which in turn going to pick the biosignal for you, but the signal value is going to be very less. It may be 0.1 volt, or it may be in the range of millivolt, like that, right. So, surely it has to be pre-amplified, right. The signal has to be amplified first, then the amplified signal has to be processed carefully. So, we use signal processing unit. This block together we call it as signal conditioner, right. Then you can see the blue color box, that is the control system or a feedback box, which is going to have the link with the pre-amplifier, right, which is also connected to the sensor transducer, which is also connected to a calibration box, which is also connected to the source of the energy what you are going to give input to the measurand, right. So, after the signal processing stage, you can see from that the output is connected to alarm, to a display, to the data storage and data transmission, data recording, right. You can see the output from the signal conditioning, it has to give the output in various ways, right. The output may be of alarm type, or the output may be of display type, or the output may be of data storage, or the output may be of data transmission to the next stage, or the output may be of data recording, and all these outputs are also connected to the control system, right. That is the feedback link, where if the patient, right, heartbeat is going to be more than the normal value, it has to raise the alarm, right, so that it gives signal to the nurse station, right. And then if you are going to have any correction over it, then through the energy sources the correction can be done. Similarly, the patient data has to be recorded, So, it can be recorded for a long time retrieval, the data can be transmitted, data can be stored. Of course, ultimately you can see this recording system even in any of the movies, also some of the movies, also regional movies, where you can see in some of the scenes the patient is connected, he is in the bed and he is connected with multiple devices such as alarm is coming one side, and then one side you can see multiple graphs were going on, and then the data were recorded and the pattern like this, right. That is the same setup, you think that in your mind, and let me move to next step. So, any medical instrument consists of the following functional basic parts. First one is the measurand. So, what is the measurand? Is the physical quantity, and the instrumentation system measures it, right. So, that is human body act as the source of the measurand. As what I said, human body is going to be the measurand, and it generates biosignals, body surface or blood pressure in the heart can be measured. The next stage is sensor transducer. Transducer converts one form of energy to another form of energy. For example, you can use a piezoelectric signal or a piezoelectric transducer which converts the vibration in the patient body into an electrical signal. So, that the transducer produces a usable output depending on the measurand. The sensor is used to sense the signal from the source, it is used to interface the signal with the human being. Then the next stage is signal conditioning, right. The signal conditioning circuits are used to convert the output from the transducer into an electrical value. Then the instrument sends this quantity to the display or recording system, but the signal conditioning, it includes amplification, filtering, analog to digital or a digital to analog conversion. All these things happens only in the signal conditioning circuit. Signal conditioning improves the sensitivity of the instruments, because when we talk about the sensitivity of the instrument, say suppose you are doing a medical instrument where it should not lag in producing the results, right. So, when I keep a sensor here in my knee to find out the pressure, it should give the reply or it should give the answer immediately, because we cannot take any lag instrument to check the data or to check about the biosignals. That also to be considered. Then fourth one is the display. It is used to provide a visual representation of the measured parameter or the quantity from the human body. Example is a chart recorder, a cathode ray oscilloscope, anything. I think you can see all these things, right. A chart recorder, in the sense you see most of the ECGs where you can see a graph, right, which is drawn between PQRS triangle to find out if there any problem in your heart, that is in the chart recorder. Then you see the CRO where you see the pulses are going on, right. So, that is about the display. So, you want to make your system to be compatible with all these display devices. Example is that signals generated in Doppler ultrasound scanner used for fetal monitoring, right. That is also done when the pregnant cases they use Doppler ultrasonic scan. Then data storage and data transmission. The data storage is used to store the data and can be used for future references, right. In some of the complex cases or in some of the VIPs as the measurand, then the data has to be stored and it has to be reused or it has to be shown to others, right. Even for healthy medical field, they used to keep the data, collect the data and they have to use it. You have a medical records, etc., everything, right. Recent days electronic health records are utilized in hospitals. Data transmission is used in telemetric systems where data can be transmitted from one location to another location. Okay, so that is also done here. So you have seen the basics, right, of the recording system, right. Next we will see about the implementation, end user and patient considerations, right. We will see. Coming to the implementation, end user and patient considerations, we will be concentrating on quality, right, first one, because it is about obtaining the biosignal and using the biosignal. There should not be any quality compromise in that. Then next one is about the cost. Say suppose I can give a quality X-ray, but the cost is going to be very high, means ordinary patients or ordinary human being cannot afford it, right. So, that is also to be considered. Then next one is time. Time is very, very important, right. Say if I am going to be, you are going to design some equipments, right, and if that is going to be taking too much of time, even though the accuracy here is good, precision is good, but if the time is going to be very high, then it cannot be used in a medical field. So, time is also a main factor. Then you can consider the software quality and usability deficiencies, hardware and workflow considerations, unintended consequences, privacy concerns, legal issues. All these things should be considered for setting up a recording, right, that is a basic recording system or capturing the biosignal. These were very important. Coming to the basic recording system, recorders provide a permanent visual trace or record of an applied electrical signal, right. That is indirectly we tell it as a biosignal, right. So, recorders provide a permanent visual trace of a signal. So, there are many types of recorders utilizing a variety of techniques for writing purposes. The most elementary electronic recording system is shown in the diagram. You can see the diagram, right. Now, we are talking about the recording system. So, this patient or a human being which is being the measurand, that is in the first part. Then following the first part, the next one is going to be your electrodes or transducer or whatever it may be. This transducers picks the signal from the measurand, converts it into another form, that is the understandable form. Here it may be preferably electrical signal, right. Transducer generally any kind of signal which is converted to signals converted to another form, one form of signal converted to another form, right. So, if it is going to be a electrical transducer, any type of signal converted to electrical signal. Then the next one is signal conditioner, where the obtained signal is conditioned well to cooperate with the recorders or with the writing system, right. Why we have to do this? Yes, it is essential, because the obtained biosignal is going to be in millivolts or in microvolts, right. Because a signal when you are trapping from your body, which is not going to be a very high voltage, which is not going to be a healthy voltage, right. So, probably with the available sensors, you are going to get only a small signal, right, milli or microvolt signal. Then what will be the main function of the signal conditioner? Yes, it starts the signal condition, obtain the signal, that is in milli or microvolts, then it first amplifies the signal, right. So, it will amplify the signal. So, then what happens after the amplification? If there is going to be any noise, right, pertaining to the signal, then it has to be filtered, and then the signal is strengthened to be compatible with the writing system. If it is going to be a printer, right, then it has to be compatible to the printing system. Right. Similarly, here you can use any type of recorder, whether it may be an XY graph or it may be an ultraviolet recorders or ultrasound type, right, whatever it may be, you should make the signal more compatible to the writing system. So, now the entire basic recording system, what happens is, from the measurand measures the biosignal, converts the biosignal to electrical signal, then in the signal conditioner box the obtained electrical signal is strengthened, right, and you are going to get noise free signal which is compatible to the writing or the recording system. So, that is what it is explained here. Signal conditioners to record any one of the physical or bioelectric events on the same writing channel. The writing systems which are available in many forms constitutes the key portion of the recording instrument. The commonly used writing systems are the galvanometer type pin recorder and the potentiometric type recorders, right. So, we discussed about the sensors, right. So, what are the sensors we have and how you may get the signals, right. So, for that I shared some of the diagrams. These were the electrodes, right, which is having a micro needle type. You can see in the picture right. If I just insert this micro needle into a human being, right, into a human being or into a patient or to a measurement, I will obtain some sort of signal through this yellow color wire, right. So, this is going to be a transducer where these electrodes, right, which may give the signal, right. So, you can see this is disposable detachable EMG, electromyography monopolar needle electrodes, right. Electromyography, it is about your muscles, right. So, this PTFE coated stainless steel needle, color coded caps, pre-sterilized, includes 2 reusable super flexible 24-inch wire leads with touch proof connector. This is the specification of the micro needle, individually packaged and sold in packs of 25 or 50 electrodes, right. We think, no, how we obtain the signal, because I am telling the same thing. You will be having any type of transducer and you are going to get, right. In such case, how the biosignal is taken, for that the first step is going to be your electrode. This is disposable concentric needle electrodes, which may also detect a biosignal, right. It is a one time use, pre-sterilized, no assembly required, platinum alloy core is used, 0.07 square mm recording area, color coded caps, so there is no confusion, super flexible red or black twisted lead, standard touch proof connectors, individually packed and sold in packs of 20s. This is another disposable injectable monopolar needle, right. Here also 24-inch detachable, Teflon coated, right. See, these all used to trap the biosignal for you. Okay. This one is surface electrodes, right. Here you see the nerve conduction is measured through a surface electrode, right. I will scroll the mouse over the surface. You can see the red dot and the green dot together, there is a nerve. Now, we are going to find out the conduction over this nerve, right. If there is going to be any paralytic or pre-paralytic problems, or you cannot walk, anything like that, they try to find out the nerve conduction. Okay. So, for that they will use a surface electrodes, right. They will find out whether there is going to be any conduction or not. If there is a nerve conduction, it will show the value, otherwise it will not show the value, right. It measures the rate at which an electrical impulse moves along a nerve, right. So, it is used to diagnose peripheral nerves and muscle. The nerve is stimulated usually with surface electrodes, which are patch like electrodes placed on the skin over the nerve at various locations, right. So, one electrode stimulates the nerve with a very mild electrical impulse, resulting electrical activity is recorded by other electrodes. So, the distance between the electrodes and the time taken for the one input signal to reach the another input signal, with that they will calculate whether the nerve region is going to be working in normal or abnormal. A normal body temperature must be maintained. Low body temperature slows the nerve conduction, right. So, just a minute, you can see this, right. It is about the surface electrodes, right. So, how the nerve conduction is measured, right. So, then next one is about the amplifier. Okay. So, we will. So, an amplifier, following the all the basic sensors and making the instruments, measuring the biosignals, you should have some knowledge on the amplifiers also, right. So, an amplifier or simply amp is any device that changes, usually increases the amplitude of the signal, because we generally know amplifier in the sense increases the amplitude of a signal. The signal is usually voltage or current. The relationship of the input to the output of an amplifier, it is usually expressed as a function of the input frequency. That is called the transfer function of the amplifier, and the magnitude of the transfer function is termed the gain, right. So, that is very simple. I can say an amplifier. Say suppose the obtained biosignal is going to be 0.1 volt, right, and if my gain is going to be 10 times. So, this 0.1 multiplied by 10, I will get 1 as the value, right. Then this 1, once again if I am going to increase the gain in next stage of my amplifier, that 0.1 can be multiplied by 10 and get 1, then this 1 is once again amplified into 10 times. So, I may get 10 volts. So, with this 10 volts I can control, I can amplitude, attenuation can be done, whatever you want you can do this, right. So, you can see the pre-amplifiers, right, the basic pre-amplifier circuit. Probably it is like your op-amp IC 741 where you can give the input signals to this T and S from this pre-amplifier, right, and then depending upon the feedback resistance gain, right, you can decide the gain and you can get the output in 6 and 7 as inverting or a non-inverting output, right. So, if you know this op-amp IC 741, right, it will be operating in both inverting action as well as in non-inverting action, and similarly if you know the working of a differential amplifier, then with that it is enough, you can get into the design of the biomedical instruments, right. So, you can see this a pre-amplifier, preamp or control amp in some parts of the world is an electronic amplifier which precedes another amplifier to prepare an electronic signal for further amplification or processing. The pre-amplifier circuitry may or may not be housed as a separate component. In general, the function of a preamp is to amplify a low level signal to line level signal, that is usable value. Okay. In all the medical instruments, of course, we have to think the value is going to be very less. So, we should go for a pre-amplifier. So, pre-amplifiers may be incorporated into the housing or chassis of the amplifier. They feed in a separate housing mounted within or near the signal source, such as a turntable, microphone or a musical instrument, right. Now, coming to this differential amplifiers, it's somehow interesting for instrumentation engineer, right. So, what this differential amplifier will do, see this 0.6 and 8 or R1 and R3 where you are going to give the voltage input. In our case we take that as going to be the differential biosignal. I will connect a biosignal here, whether this R3 may be 0 or this R1 may be some value. Okay. Now, what happens is this is an inverting type, right. So, the difference in signal is sent to the op-amp, right, and R2 is the feedback resistance. V in difference into the feedback resistance value will gives the gain, right. So, your output voltage will be with respect to your feedback value, right. This is differential amplifiers mostly widely used in all the instrumentation amplifiers, where the minute change in the value, right, from 0.1 to 0.15 is going to be the input value, that is also noted, and that corresponding gain value which is through the feedback resistance, it is amplified and you are going to get that as the output voltage, right. So, that is the function of the input voltage. Even though a very small minute change in the value of 0.1 volt, 0.2 volt like that, that is also amplified exactly, and it is done by this op-amp. That is the function of the differential amplifier. So, differential amplifier is a type of electronic amplifier, multiplies the difference between two inputs, right. Many electronic devices use differential amplifiers, that is what I said, right. Then next comes is your isolation amplifier, right. This is also very important. We should know about this isolation amplifier also, right. See, the obtained signal from the patient body, right, then that signal is transferred through various stages such as signal conditioning circuit, then to the recorders or to the CRO, whatever it may be. If suppose I am not going to have any isolation, if my recording instrument or my CRO or my printer, if anything which is going to utilize 230 volts, if any malfunction occurs and that 230 volt should not come to the measurand, right, or to the patient. So, that is why what they do, they will try to have an isolation amplifier, that is, there is no direct connection between the part 2 and part 1, input source to output source, right. So, you can see the diagram, this is the primary voltage, right, then you have an operational amplifier, right, you have a rectifier, right, then you have an isolating amplifier and then a transformer. So, the input section is isolated. I can use any optical circuits to transform the signal through the transformer as well as to the secondary circuit, and then you can have an oscillator, then the secondary op amp circuit, the obtained signal is then once again amplified and it is given, the output is given here, secondary current output circuit. So, from here I can connect any type of the direct recorders, right, or any type of CRO, whatever it may be, because I do not have any direct connection between the output circuit to the input circuit, that this input circuit may be my patient, right. So, that is why there is an essential need of isolation amplifier. So, whatever I say, the same thing is given here. They protect data acquisition components from common mode voltages, which are potential differences between instrument ground and signal ground, right. So, here this makes even less noisy signals also, right. So, following the amplifiers, pre-amplifiers and isolation amplifiers, right, you get some knowledge on how the biosignal is amplified and how it is given to the output signal. Coming to the output signal, then probably this is going to be your output structure, a direct writing recorder, right. So, we will see the very most basic type direct writing galvanometer recorder. Okay, you can see here. So, what happens is you will have a permanent magnet, then a moving coil. That moving coil is going to have a writing arm, right. So, my input signal from the patient or the measurand is given to the permanent magnet moving coil, right. So, what happens is already I have magnetic lines of flux here. When I am going to give some sort of current to the moving coil, right, then both the currents interact each other, the input current which also produces some flux, right. So, due to the interaction of both these fluxes, the writing arm will move over the strip chart, right, the writing arm will move. So, this movement will be in x and y direction and the chart motor will also rotate. So, this which in turn gives the value, this which in turn gives the value of the biosignal. So, that is the biosignal is recorded here, right. So, this is particular about the recording head and the movement over the paper, right. So, this is the stylus, the rotating coil which is going to move over this region. Okay. Seeing the direct recorders, then next we will see the ultraviolet recorders. The limited bandwidth problem of galvanometric recorders are due to system moment of inertia and spring constants. So, that can be reduced to some extent. So, in that criteria we follow ultraviolet recorders which work on very similar principles to standard galvanometric chart recorders, but achieve a very significant reduction in system inertia and spring constants. Let me see that the mirror reflects a beam of ultraviolet light onto ultraviolet sensitive paper. It is very simple. You can see this is the main part. It is usual to find several of these mirror galvanometer systems mounted in parallel within one instrument to provide a multi-channel recording capability. The arrangement enables signals at frequencies up to 13 kilohertz, so that it can be recorded satisfactory signals. Special precautions are necessary to protect the ultraviolet sensitive paper from light before use and to spray a fixing lacquer on it after recording. So, such instruments must also be handled with extreme care, because the mirror galvanometers and their delicate mounting systems are easily damaged when compared to this ordinary galvanometric type. Ultraviolet recorders are significantly more expensive than ordinary standard chart type recorders. I will show you the sketch, you can see the sketch, right. So, this N end is where the magnet setup, you can see the moving coil galvanometer is here, and then you can see the mirror, right. So, this is the UV light source. So, depending upon the signal, the moving coil galvanometer will just moves. So, this movement, right, is made to fall over the paper, ultra sensitive paper, which is shown here, right. So, depending upon the movement, the signals may be going to fall through the mirror, the signal is going to fall over the ultra sensitive paper, and that is how the recording is done in this. So, for your better understanding and easy understanding, you can see some various types of recorders are given in the URL what I have given here. You can just have a look over it. I will share these URL to you. Thank you.